Hey everybody, so today we're going to be talking about my fragrance rotation. Again, I'm switching things out. I'm in the mood for a change, and one of the fragrances I ran out of, so I thought it was probably a good idea to just go ahead and switch it up, see what I pull for this time around. The fragrance that I did finish was Burberry Brit, and I vowed to finish it. It was not difficult. It holds for about 4 hours, so I do need to sort of refresh in the middle of the day once. This is a really lovely floral, slightly green eau de toilette with a lot of pistachio notes. Quite wearable and very, very versatile. In fact, Burberry fragrances for me are just that. They are the everyday workhorses. You can very easily rely on them. They will get you through your day, they will get you through your night, they will get you through your weekend. It's quite an easy pick in terms of if you are the kind of person who wears, say, 1 or 2 fragrances in total. I would say that Burberry line is excellent for those really basic fragrances that you are going to be able to wear everywhere. That's what they make, that's what they create. This was an eau de toilette. I will probably repurchase it in the future, but I will repurchase it in an eau de parfum version because it's somewhat creamier. And I do enjoy a good creamy fragrance. This one I remember I was buying when it was summertime or springtime last year. And I wanted something slightly greener and lighter for the warmer weather, but I think I do prefer how the eau de parfum smells over the eau de toilette. I'm happy to be rid of this, to be quite honest, but it was certainly a very easy option, and I would recommend that sort of a fragrance for you guys. One of the fragrances that is leaving the rotation is Thierry Mugler. It's Alien Essence Absolue. This one is the amber and gourmand kind of mix. It is very, very amber heavy fragrance. It is a winter fragrance for sure. I made quite a significant dip in it. The staying power is fantastic. The fragrance is very, very rich and powerful. It is sort of, business sex kitten sort of scent. The sillage is very considerable, so beware, you only need 1 spritz. And I am very thankful for the fragrance for being in my rotation currently, but I'm ready to move on to something else, I think. Another one that is leaving is the Jessica Simpson Fancy Love. I actually put a super good dent into this fragrance. There's not all that much left in it, maybe half of the bottle. I love this fragrance, but I'm kind of sort of ready to move on to something else for now, and then I'll return to it perhaps a little bit further into the spring. It's quite a rich, peachy scent that is reminiscent of Burberry Woman. It is very gentle, very feminine, and also has the same property as the Burberry scent that I've spoken about. It goes with everything and everywhere. It's an all-occasion kind of scent. It is both soft and powerful at the same time. I love scents like this. Currently, this one is going to the sidelines though. What I'm keeping this time around in the rotation is Lolita Lempika eau de parfum. This is a wonderful violet, licorice, dusty, my favorite kind of scent. Quite sweet for what I usually go for. Normally the scents that I tend to pick aren't quite as sweet, but this time in, for some reason, I'm really picking quite sweet scents. I don't know why, but that's what I'm reaching for. So Lolita Lempika definitely stays. It's very delicious. The licorice in it and anise seed are very pronounced. There's a ton of sweet candied violets in here. It's quite a feminine, dreamy perfume, a little bit temperamental, but also very, very wearable. I am able to pull it off in a workplace, and I wouldn't discourage you from trying it in a workplace. Next, we have a powerhouse, an absolute bomb, which I don't really reach for all that much. It is the original refillable Alien Star. This is my, I think, 2nd bottle of this fragrance. This is a super, super economical buy because you most certainly do not need a lot to create a bomb power, really huge sillage, the throw is enormous, it's very powerful, the longevity is outstanding with this fragrance. It'll wear for the full 12 hours plus, whatever you need it to do, it'll do. It can withstand a nuclear explosion. It'll be there when roaches are dying. Everything else on the planet is completely wiped out. An alien will be still around because it's just so long lasting. This is patchouli, quite dusty, sort of dark chocolate patchouli, a bit of a witch's brew. Very special fragrance. Definitely not for everybody. I do not encourage you to try this fragrance on a whim, sort of, or buy blindly if you see it. This is definitely the kind of fragrance you need to wear multiple times. This is also the kind of fragrance that if you try to wear in the summer, you will most likely choke to death. It's heavy, it's rich, it's luscious. It is all things to all people, but at the same time, it gives a lot of people a headache. Therefore, I of course caution you, please pay attention. Do not overdo Angel, because Angel can kill with a migraine. My bottle is almost full because it's a recent replacement, and also because it takes forever to use up a bottle of Angel, even for me. Although I do use fragrances quite heavily, I do not need to use this one heavily or sort of refresh the fragrance, because this lasts so well, because it is so powerful. You only need one spray. You really do not need to play around with it. It'll play around for you. This is a wonderful all-encompassing kind of scent. Not sure if it's appropriate for a workplace. I actually don't believe it is. I wear it casually. A light application casually actually creates quite an interesting mood. So for me, this is one of the few patchoulis, heavy patchouli scents that I own, and this patchouli is quite dirty. You need to keep in mind that if you are a fan of patchouli, this will probably be your jam. But if patchouli is something that you are not hot on, this will murder you, murder your brain. Next one that I wanted to mention is a Violet by Marc Jacobs. I believe I've spoken about this fragrance previously. It's quite a spring scent. I think the bottle is actually nicer than the fragrance. The bottle is truly adorable. The fragrance contains notes that I do enjoy, which is of course why I have purchased it in the first place. It's not so much violets as it is violet candy. Quite sweet, a bit gourmand, quite a little bit powdery, but it's not a powder and boudoir kind of fragrance. It's rather a very sweet interpretation of a violet scent, very modern, which of course Marc Jacobs, that's what they do. They do quite modern interpretations of classics, and they do super modern wearable scents that are not brain-screwingly complicated. So this one is really an easy wear fragrance for me. It goes everywhere because it is not so complicated. I think it's suitable for workwear. It's an eau de parfum, and it lasts kind of like an eau de toilette, but a good eau de toilette. So it'll give you maybe 4 hours of wear, no problem. After that, you might want to refresh. The presentation is adorable. It's not my style. It's not exactly what I like in packaging, but I really can't fault it. It's adorable. It's very cute. And the scent is candied violets with a bit of powderiness, but not too much. I'm kind of thinking that this fragrance is not going to be, once it's done, a repurchase for me, simply because I like violets that are slightly more melancholic. This is just sweetie sweet. So for a lot of people, I think it's going to be a wonderful pick, people who like sweet violets, but it lacks personality for me, I think. So after wearing it for a bit, I really came to the conclusion that it somewhat lacks personality, if I can say that. It's a little bit simplistic, a little bit too simplistic in my opinion. But I probably will leave it in the rotations this spring until I'm finished with it, probably a few rotations. And the last one that I'm going to keep in is going to be a fragrance that I'm going to introduce you to, and this is Private Show by Britney Spears. This is a fragrance that I have very recently picked up just out of curiosity. The packaging is very minimal, very drugstore level, nothing interesting or pretty about the packaging. It's sort of shaped like a crystal. This is kind of cheap printing. The bottle is a little bit cheap. The cap is a little bit cheap. The sprayer is actually very good, which was a surprise because with all this cheapness, outward cheapness, I was expecting the sprayer to be crap, but it's not. It's pretty good. Most of Britney Spears sprayers are decent quality, so that is also nice to have. This is a sweet, sweet, sweet balm. My husband does really like that one, simply because that's the kind of fragrances he goes for. I have to say there is a very definite resemblance between the original Fantasy and this little guy. Here, maybe it's slightly more grown up. It has a little bit more personality. It has a little bit of coffee, a little bit of darkness in it. But the same kind of sweetness. There's also quite a significant amount of fruitiness, nondescript fruitiness. There's sugariness. There's some kind of a fluffy feeling that comes from it, maybe like sponge sugar kind of fluffiness, but not pink sponge sugar. This fragrance is quite sweet. But I have to say that the coffee note does add something interesting to the fragrance. It is more intimate than the intimate edition that I used to have, and I already finished in one of my rotations. This one is a pleasant, sweetie, sweet tooth kind of scent. I have to say, not bad. Britney Spears' line is usually very, very gourmand, very, very sweet, sort of like a tangy sweetness, sweetie goodies in your mouth. That's what it feels like. And that's kind of what I was going for when I was buying this particular bottle, because this is kind of an ode to my husband. That's the kind of sense he likes. When we met many years ago, I was wearing Britney Spears Fantasy. I was barely out of my teens. So, you know, I think he's attracted to those sorts of scents on me because it feels for him like he's coming home. But for me, I've outgrown this type of scent, but I still like to wear it every once in a while just to sort of have fun, be playful with the scents that I do wear. It's by no means going to be a wonderful favorite that I'm going to repurchase, but it is going to be a fun fragrance that I will wear. The longevity of this fragrance is not great, but it's not bad. It's sort of somewhere in the middle. The sillage is on a stronger side, but not giant either. So it's an average fragrance in every regard. But I am excited to have it in because I'm kind of looking forward to having fun with it. Basically, that's it. So there's a lot of sweetness in this particular rotation. There's a bit of very sweet patchouli. There are a couple of workwear fragrances that I'm going to be able to do. And there is, of course, the Britney Spears Private Show perfume that I will have to definitely film a separate review. The next review is going to be these two guys, so expect to hear about it very, very soon. That's it for today. This is my current fragrance rotation. Super sweet, super tangy, super fruity all of a sudden. What kind of fragrances are you wearing right now? This transitional odd period from winter to spring, it kind of makes me feel like I want to do the last hooray in terms of strong, sweet fragrances. Let me know how you're doing with your fragrances and what you're smelling like nowadays. Have fun. See you later. Bye-bye.